standing in a nice green grassy field with the wind blowing, the trees are listing lazily. Yeah, just that.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Mike, one of the senior developers at 11th Hour Games, held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 81. As always, Mike answered lots of good questions from the community and gave us some spoilers for what is coming on 090 on March 9th. Now Mike also got a new headset, got a new microphone, some new streaming equipment, and it takes some time to fine-tune all that. So he sounds a little low. I'll work on it in post-processing, and he sounds a little tinny, so he'll get it right. He also is a little rusty from taking some weeks off for the Christmas break. We're also going to poke fun at that a little bit in this video. Let's not waste any more time. First question from me. Any thought on guilds or update on guilds?
Any updated thoughts around guilds? Not so much, really. I still think they're really cool to have and can help promote communities. It's tricky to have them be just like where their only purpose is just like a group chat room almost. When there's like one of the big, like the few times that I've joined guilds in games like this is more around like MMOs where there's like weekly activities that having a guild helps organize and things like that. I've found them to be really useful there. It's tricky because we don't have any activities that thrive in a guild environment right now. And I think we'd have to. I still like this is the same answer I gave before. I still think we'd have to have some sort of activity that's like, here's a reason to be in a guild. That I think would be really interesting.
This led me to this question.
Thought it was an interesting idea that maybe guilds could openly trade with each other, but you could only switch guilds monthly. Yeah, we definitely talked about that was definitely an option we considered for a long time, and I think it has the potential. Well, one of the big problems that I think is that it has the potential to be, if you want to play like top tier builds, you have to get into one of the big guilds so that you can just trade, type thing, and it becomes a bit of a like okay, well, and then you gotta buy entry into this guild so you can trade, things like that. I think it's a little potentially problematic.
Okay. Every system is going to have give and take. There's no system that is going to be perfect. There is always going to be somebody happy. There's always going to be somebody disappointed. I feel like unanimously we can agree on that. I feel like as well that, I don't want to say unanimously, but a majority of the community, at least the poll I did, 80-20, it was actually 85-15, want some form of trade inside of Last Epoch. And 11th Hour Games has always been a studio that listens to the community. And they haven't shut the door on trade yet. They've just shut the door on 090 having trade. It is just going to have item gifting. Now, I know we're likely not moving towards an auction house. We're not moving towards a trade house. We're not moving towards a player-driven economy. So how could you possibly, show the community, obviously, that you care, because you do, and give them some version of trade, but not go crazy like you would inside of PoE. Guild trade is I think you're going to move towards clans or guilds in the future anyways. So having it where every month, every 6 months or whatever it is, you're stuck in that guild and you can't switch, but you can openly trade, and you could, however you want to do that, is a pretty good, medium point. Just a thought. Leak number 1 and a continued conversation on trade.
Yeah, look at this little guy.
Ooh.
Ciao. Drink lots of water.
Look at that. Bug. Let me get my face out of here.
To do that after he drinks
this one.
So he'll be chugging away at something, and he'll take his sippy cup away, and he'll be like, ah. It's adorable. Oh, yeah, Hexor asks, why not make trade open and have a toggle when creating characters? So if you want to participate in ladder stuff, they have restrictive trading. Only one player can be number one, so why restrict trading for all players who love it? And those who don't like trading play SSF or single player anyways. There's a couple different reasons why that's not just like the obvious answer to do. I'm not saying that's not ever going to happen or anything like that, but the reasons that immediately spring to mind of why the system might not be implemented could be something like maintaining two different drop tables or drop balance environments is almost necessary when you do something like that, because you either end up with, I think there's sort of like, it's a big spectrum, but I think you kind of end up in one of three categories, where either the drops are pretty plentiful and it feels good to play in SSF. It's probably the drop table that we have right now, and people who are playing in a trade focused league end up having this just like loot pinata that happens every single time, because everything becomes so easy to obtain. And then I think you have the swing side of that is you make things so that they're pretty easy. The difficulty to obtain is balanced around. I mean, this is the argument we've all heard a billion times on the forums, so at this point, so I'm kind of going through it quickly. You have the you balance it around the trade itself, and then suddenly SSF becomes so painfully brutal to obtain gear by comparison, and it's sort of a grass is greener situation at that point, where you're saying like, okay, well, why did they get the gear and I don't? If I want to do this build that's become really popular, I have to go play in that other game. And it's a tricky thing. I'm sure there's like a whole bunch of like psychology studies that have been done around it that I don't understand at all. And then the third situation is you end up somewhere in the middle where it's probably a little bit too easy for one and probably a little bit too hard for the other, and it's sort of this. It kind of falls into that second category, anyways. And then so the solution there often suggested is, okay, we'll maintain two balance environments for gear, one SSF, one in a trade league. It's not impossible. I think it's dangerous because I think you can end up in that same. Well, it's like if it's not very, very well balanced, you can end up in a similar situation where, hey, it's too easy on the other side. I don't want to play that way, but I feel like I have to. And that can go either way, really. Like, it can be in trade, oh, it's too easy to play SSF. Actually, probably wouldn't be that way, but still, it can be, or yeah, if you balance them individually, it can be either way, right? That's the problem. Oh, it's been a time thinking about this for a long time. But my point is, there's a lot to consider with a suggestion like that, and I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not something that we're implementing for 0.9. For 0.9, we're sticking with what the forum post said, and that's we're gonna do what the forum post said. We're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna collect a bunch of feedback, collect a bunch of data, see how it feels, see how it goes, and evaluate what we're looking at, and then decide where we're gonna go from there.
Leak number 2. Spears.
Here's some new spear animations.
Ooh.
No, you don't even say it. There's new spear animations for several skills coming in for Rogue, and this is one example of them, and there's gonna be a few more. So this is Cinder Strike. Rebuke's only good when you use it. That's some seriously good tips right there. I appreciate that.
Very true.
Oh.
I want to see the spear animation on the community unique.
This build is so tanky. I wanted an excuse to show you guys in a spoiler. That's all.
I'll accept that. Check this out.
The Witcher system almost. Let's take a look at this together.
Let's. Coming.
So it's like threshold nodes. Like you would just pick one in here in this list. Like it's a spot where you have to like pick one of 3 mastery nodes, I guess. Like it's like a key node that you pick one of 3. You got.
It's an interesting idea because it adds a lot of customization to your build. I'm sure UI wise, it doesn't do a ton, but balance wise, it makes a big difference.
To like pick one of these 3 things. We definitely toyed with something like this, and I think that most of the things we were coming up with to go in these categories were so obviously they were either very generic and kind of boring, or so obvious which one you should pick, kind of boring. And they seem like they should be pretty impactful things. But there might be a way to make that work if it's kind of what I'm thinking of. Close that tab.
It's an interesting idea. I know this is a pretty short video, but we have come to our final leak of Dev Chat 81. Mike, as always, thank you for continuing these Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it, and you are always a good sport. Now, something happened. I don't know if it was on Mike's end or I don't know if it was on Twitch. I actually think it was Twitch. Audio cut out, not only Mike's mic and game audio. So this final leak is silent. So what I'm going to do is put it up on the screen, let you check it out with just a little bit of background music to carry out this video. I appreciate all of you. Enjoy.